It is a Tuesday morning in March. You have lived this exact Tuesday 1,560 times. Same route, same exit, same traffic light turning green at 8:31, same parking lot, same spot. You pull in, you shift into park, you do not get out. The resignation letter is on the passenger seat. You printed it last night while she was asleep. You open your phone. The number loads. $1,247,000. You read it once. You set the phone face down on the letter. You watch the people you have worked alongside for 20 years walk through that front door. Most of them will work another 15 years at least. You will not, and not one of them knows why. This is the story of how ordinary people retire rich. Not because they earned more, not because they got lucky, because they started earlier than anyone was watching and never stopped. You are 22 years old. It is August. You just signed the HR paperwork. First job, $42,000 a year. You walk to your cubicle. It is the size of a closet. Someone left a calendar on the wall. You sit down. You stare at the screen. You do not know yet that you will sit at a desk just like this one for the next 30 years.
You go to lunch with the guy from the next cubicle. He orders the cheap sandwich. You order the expensive one. You pay with your debit card. Your checking account drops to $47. You feel rich. You are not. But tomorrow morning, you are going to do something so small, you will immediately forget you did it. And that small thing is going to build the next 30 years of your life. Tomorrow morning comes. You are slightly hungover. You see a video on your phone. Some guy explaining compound interest. You barely understand it, but one number sticks. $300 a month, starting at 23, $1 million by 53. You watch it twice. You do not tell anyone. That afternoon, during your lunch break, you walk into your bank. You set up an automatic transfer, $300 a month, into a low-cost index fund. The teller does not look up. It takes 4 minutes. You walk back to the office. You sit down at your desk. You forget you did it. 2 weeks later, at lunch, you mention it casually. The cubicle guy laughs in the middle of the cafeteria. He says $300 a month is a pair of shoes. He says by the time that is worth anything, you will be dead. He says he is putting his into a single stock that is up 40% this year. You laugh too, because you do not know what else to do. You go back to your desk. You think about canceling. You do not. You will not understand why that matters for 15 more years. You are 26. You got a promotion, $58,000 now. You still drive the same Honda with 200,000 miles on it. The check engine light has been on since March. You ignore it. Your best friend calls on a Friday night and tells you to come outside. He is standing next to a brand new white BMW, grinning. He says $800 a month, leased it yesterday. He says your Honda is embarrassing. He says you're making 60 grand and driving a clunker. What are you doing with your life? You do not answer. The answer is, you have $11,000 in an index fund nobody knows about, and $800 a month on a car payment would kill it. But you cannot say that. He would laugh. So you nod. You say, maybe next year. You go home. You sit in your apartment with the lights off. Your finger hovers over the cancel button on the transfer. 3 years of $300 a month, $11,000, versus the look on his face next to that BMW. You do not cancel. It is the second time you have thought about it. It will not be the last. You are 28. You meet her at a friend's birthday party. A few months later, you are engaged. A few months after that, you are married. Small wedding. The Honda is still in the parking lot. The account is at $18,000. You tell her your salary. You tell her about your job. You tell her about your family. You do not tell her about the index fund. It does not feel like a lie. It feels like privacy. Something small. Something that is just yours. You combine your debts on a spreadsheet one Sunday afternoon at her kitchen table. You add up everything you owe. You do not add up your assets. She does not ask. You do not offer. This is the moment the secret begins. Not some dramatic decision, just a Sunday afternoon where you chose not to mention $18,000. You do not know it yet, but you just signed up for 23 years of silence. You were 29, September 2008. You have 24,000 in the index fund, 6 years of 300 a month, 6 years of the cubicle guy in his stock picks, 6 years of the BMW friend. Then Lehman Brothers collapses. The market drops 38%. Your 24,000 becomes 15 in 2 weeks. $9,000 gone. 3 years of savings erased in 14 days. Your friend calls and says he pulled everything out of his retirement account. He says you should too. He says this thing is going to zero. You do not tell him you have an index fund. You just say, yeah, probably, and hang up. You do not sleep that night. Saturday at 2 a.m., you're downstairs on the kitchen floor with your laptop. The screen is the only light in the room. The account is in red, $15,422. The sell button is right there. You move the cursor toward it. You move it away. You move it toward it again. The microwave clock says 2:17 a.m. Your wife is asleep upstairs. She does not know the account exists. She does not know it is down $9,000. She does not know you are on the floor. The cursor sits on the sell button at 2:43 a.m. You close the laptop. You sit in the dark for 20 more minutes. You go back to bed. You stare at the ceiling until the sun comes up. You did not sell. You do not fully know why, but on that floor at 2:43 in the morning, you stopped being someone who might build something and became someone who was going to. You just couldn't see it yet. You were 32. 3 years after the kitchen floor, the market came back and then kept going. You never touched the account. You increased the transfer to $500 a month, then $7. When your first son is born, the account is $51,000. She does not know. You stand in the kitchen at midnight holding him. He weighs almost nothing. His tiny hand grabs your finger, and you feel something you have never felt before. 2 months later, she sits you down and slides a notebook across the table. She has found a house on Maple Street, 3 bedrooms, a yard. The mortgage is $2,200 a month. You currently pay $900 in rent. You could pay the down payment tonight from the account she doesn't know about, but the monthly difference would kill the transfer. You say, let us wait 1 more year. She asks why. You say you want to save more for the down payment. It is not a lie, but it is not the truth. You lie awake that night. You think about the yard. You think about how happy she would be. You do not change your mind. This is the night you choose the account over the house. You do not know it yet, but you will make this choice 46 more times.
You are 36, second son. The Honda has 240,000 miles on it. The account is at 93,000. Your 4-year-old asks from the back seat why the car is broken. You look at him in the rearview mirror. He is asking about the check engine light. You say it is not broken, just old. He says his friend's dad has a new silver car. You say nothing. You drop them off. You drive to work. At lunch, you look up a used Toyota Highlander, $32,000. The account has 93,000 in it. You do not buy it. You go back to the Honda. You are 38. Tuesday morning in the office parking lot. You open the brokerage app before you open your email. The number says 187,000. You open your calculator. You type in the numbers. Current balance, $700 a month added, 7% annual return, 14 more years. You hit equals. The number that comes back stops you completely. You type it again, same number. You type it a third time, same number. $1,230,000. You sit back in the seat. The clock says 8:59. You are about to be late for the first time in 7 years. You do not move. You watch the accounting guy walk in with his coffee and his folder. He does not see you. You realize in that moment, you are going to retire before him. Not because you earn more. You probably earn less. Just because you started 14 years earlier. Time. That is the only reason. That is the whole reason. You are 42. A Wednesday morning in March, your phone rings at 6:47. It is your mother. Your father died in his sleep. Heart attack. No warning. You fly home alone. At the wake, the house is full of his coworkers from the post office, men in their 60s and 70s who worked the same routes for 30 and 40 years. An older man in a suit that does not fit anymore finds you in the kitchen. He says your father talked about you all the time. He asks what you do for a living. You have $397,000
$47,000 in an index fund. You are going to retire in 10 years. You have been hiding it from your wife for 14 years. You say, "I work for a logistics company." He nods. He says, "Good, honest work." He pats you on the shoulder and walks away. You drive home the next day, 6 hours on the highway. You do not turn on the radio. You do not take any calls. That night, you log into the account. It went up $2,000 while you were at the funeral. You stare at it for a long time. You do not feel anything. You close the laptop. You are 46. Your old friend calls after 3 years of silence. He asks to get coffee. He looks tired when you arrive. He tells you they repossessed the BMW 8 months ago. His wife left in April. He is 3 months behind rent. He says a number, $4,000. He says he will pay you back. You know he probably won't. You look at him across the table. You think about the night he pulled up in that BMW. You do not bring it up. You say you will send it tonight. You send it from checking. The index fund stays untouched. He texts you a month later and says you saved his life. You do not respond because you do not know what to say. He saved his own life the day he stopped pretending. You just paid the rent. You close the phone. You go to bed. You do not tell anyone.
You are 49. The account is at $840,000. You can see the finish line. Your boss calls you into his office. He offers you VP of Operations, $140,000 base. You think about it for a week. You go back and decline. He stares at you. He says, "Are you serious?" You say yes. He says, "Why?" You say, "You are good where you are." 2 weeks later, your wife finds out from someone at a soccer game. She waits until the kids are in bed. She sits across from you at the kitchen table. She says, "Did you turn down a promotion?" You say yes. She says, "When were you going to tell me?" She says, "It was $140,000. She says, "Do you know what we could do with that? Our son needs braces. We've been waiting 2 years. She says, "Are you even happy here with us? Or is this just easier for you?" You look up. That one landed. The words form in your mouth. "I have $840,000. I am going to retire in 3 years. I have been keeping it from you since before we were married." You could open your mouth right now and end 21 years of silence. You do not. You say you are happy and you just don't need more right now. She stares at you for a long time. She says, "I don't know who you are anymore." She goes upstairs. You sit at the kitchen table for an hour without moving. You sleep on the couch. The next morning, she does not look at you. You both just keep going. That's the worst part. You both just keep going. The account crosses $1 million on a Friday in October. You see it on your phone in a Starbucks parking lot. You sit for 10 minutes. You do not tell anyone. It's a Tuesday morning in March. You are 52. You pull into the parking lot. You do not get out. The resignation letter is on the passenger seat. You open your phone. $1,247,000. You watch your coworkers walk through the front door. Most of them will work another 15 years. You will not. You get out. You take the letter. You walk past the cubicle you have sat in for 9 years without stopping. Your boss is on a call. You wait. He hangs up. He looks at you. You hand him the letter. He reads it. He looks up. He says, "Is this a joke?" You say no. He says, "Where are you going?" You say, "You are retiring." He says, "You're 52. You say, "You know." He says, "How?" You do not answer. He waits. You do not fill it. He puts the letter down. He shakes your hand. He says, "Thank you for 30 years. You say thank you. You walk out. Past the cubicles, past the break room, past the front desk, past the security guard who has worked here longer than you have. He nods, you nod back. You push through the front door. The sun is up. It's 9:23 in the morning. You get in your car. You sit there. You do not cry. You do not smile. You just sit. For 30 years you walked into that building. Today you walked out. That's the whole story. $300 a month, an automatic transfer, a decision to not cancel on 3 different nights when you almost did, a kitchen floor at 2:43 in the morning when you closed the laptop instead, 14 years of watching the same accounting guy walk in with his coffee while you ran the same numbers in the same parking lot. Nobody saw any of it. Nobody was supposed to. You start the car. You drive home. The engine check light is off. You bought a new car last year. Your wife is in the kitchen when you walk in. She looks at you. She knows something happened. She does not ask yet. You pour yourself a coffee. You sit down at the kitchen table, the same table where the secret started 23 years ago on a Sunday afternoon, with a spreadsheet and a debt column and an asset you did not mention. You look at her. You open your mouth. This time, you do not close it.